What's up guys, UFC Vegas 51 we have as the main event Vicente Luque facing off against Belal Muhammad. It's a really good main event actually. It's a hidden kind of card, you know, a lot of people that you may not be familiar with which I love personally, great sleeper cards. Let's see how this one pans out. But before we get into it guys, this video is sponsored by Full Reptile Collective, brought to you by Dan Hardy. Head over to their website at fullreptile.co.uk where you can find anything from training gear, t-shirts, hoodies, all the way to coffee. For an exclusive 10% off, use Dan Said So at checkout. Make sure to also check out their YouTube channel for some of the best MMA content out there, bar my own. Let's get back to the video. Alright guys, let's start with Vicente Luque here, because Vicente Luque is arguably the dark horse of the division to me, and he showed that in his last time out against Chiesa, which we'll get into in a little bit, but I just want to give you a little background. If you aren't aware too much of Vicente Luque, obviously the diehards out there know all about the guy, how phenomenal he is, how he's only lost 3 times in his UFC tenure so far, dating back I think to 2015. You know, the guy's only lost to, you know, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by decision, Leon Edwards by decision, and then Mike Graves as well, where again, tough 21. A long time ago, and when he's lost, the only holes in his game, and we're going to start with the holes in his game because he's got so many good things about him, which I'm sure everyone knows about, but you just got to reiterate it because it's a really dangerous fight for both guys here, but I think it's a much more dangerous fight for Belal Muhammad. So the weak point of Vicente Luque's game in his losses is he's kind of really stuck with the range. It takes him 2 rounds nearly to work out the range of a guy. Gets caught a lot, gets pity-patted a lot, no damage, no real he's hurt or anything, no power shots landed, just tippy-tapper hits, out-pointed, out-precisioned, out-moved, and kept at a distance where he can't implement the great aspects of his game, which I can't wait to talk about. But Leon Edwards and Stephen Thompson mainly did it. You know, they kept him at bay, landed low kicks, jabbed his face off, constantly moving, much to how Chiesa was starting off the last fight again, before obviously the game plan for Chiesa wasn't ever the striking, which obviously is Leon and Stephen's game. Chiesa's game plan was always the takedown, and he nearly finished it with getting the back as well, and you just showed how good Vicente is on the ground with someone like Chiesa. Chiesa, he only had the back for a few seconds before the scramble, you know, turned it almost into a crank, and then the scramble again. He kind of put his knees to the floor, you know, went on all fours almost, and Vicente snatched what I'll talk about as well, which is one of his signatures, the Darce choke. I mean, the guy is an absolute finisher. He's only, out of all of his wins, he's only ever gone to the decision in a win once, and that was a split decision victory against Mike Perry, the one where I believe he shattered his nose in half. Vicente Luque is an absolute killer. He has the killer instinct in him. He smells blood, he will not back down, and he will find that. He switches on that mode where he just becomes an animal. And when I say he smells blood, he's got that killer instinct. If you remember back to the Jalen Turner fight, obviously Jalen Turner new into the UFC at that point, upcoming prospect, still is, you know, today. He landed a beautiful, beautiful spinning elbow. What did Vicente do? He knew what his game plan is. His game plan is always to stand in the pocket, uses explosive pinpoint accuracy hook game. The pocket is where Vicente Luque shines. Pretty much all of his wins come from standing and trading in some manner. He has excellent head movement, excellent pivot positions, steps in and steps out of range at the exact perfect times. He is the master of pocket fighting, phone booth fighting as it will. Jalen Turner did the spinning elbow, landed it clean. What did Vicente Luque did? He just ate it like a monster, and landed that short right, dazed Jalen to bits, landed another shot, went down, open guard, raining the hammers, pinpoint again, doesn't miss with these ground strikes. If you go look back guys and watch so many of his fights, and I'm going to mention a few here, he just stands over the guys and does not miss with these strikes, lands a beautiful elbow, and then vicious left hooks, knocks out Jalen Turner. You go to the Niko Price fight, lands a beautiful overhand right. He's already hurt Niko in this fight, might I imagine. Backs him against the cage, lands a beautiful overhand right, hits the body. That's when Niko goes down, lands a vicious couple of extra strikes, snatches that Darce. As soon as he sees that neck, smells that blood, grabs that neck, rolls. Good night. You know, it was a quick tap from Niko in that fight as well. Even against Price. Do you remember Price? Steps in, short left hook, beautifully catches Price, drops down, stands over in an open guard, rains down heavy shots. And I mentioned Price because it was a replica, complete replica, exactly what he did to Belal Muhammad the first time round. Belal steps into range, short left hook, knocks him clean down. Beautiful counter left hook as well. You know, blocks the punch, hits with the left hook. Belal falls down, open guard, stands in it, rains down the heavy shots, pinpoint accuracy, vicious power as well. He's got ridiculous, deceitful power, I'd say. Vicente Luque is one of the strongest individuals at this weight class. He doesn't look formidable. He doesn't look like he's a powerhouse. The dude is so goddamn strong. And I'll mention the strength because when he fought Tyron Woodley, you might want to say Tyron Woodley was washed at this point, but Tyron Woodley came out the gates. He wanted to prove something after back-to-back losses from falling from champion. Obviously, one of the biggest fall from graces from a champion we've seen. Woodley just kind of crumbled. Came out the gates, looked to wrestle straight away with Luque, and Luque just scooped him back up, postured up, backed off, and Woodley, what? Woodley is one of the strongest individuals. Whether he's washed or not, he is a powerhouse at 170. People evolve, people caught up with him, all the normal stuff when a champion gets overlapped almost and doesn't evolve their own game, has too many other occupations, other distractions in life. Luque just did him. All the power shots Woodley was willing to throw in that, gassed him quick, and were all blocked by the beautifully defensive high guard of Vicente Luque. His excellent defense as well. The only time it's kind of been exploited is when the range is out of his control. Leon, Steven, they're the two main ones. Steven probably did a much better job, actually managed to bloody up the face of Luque in that fight. Leon's was more like a clinical point system, I do not want to fight this guy. Let's grind out the win, etc. Again, lands the beautiful right against Woodley, stumbles him against the cage, and from then on it's chicken legs. The next minute of the fight they're just trading, and Woodley's not getting any good deal in this trade at all. Again, pocket fighting, phone booth fighting. It's the one thing everybody gets drawn into with Luque. It's the one thing you don't want, because if you get drawn into that firefight, he's gonna knock you spark out. And if he doesn't knock you spark out, you're on the floor, your eyes are rolled back, and he's landing those pinpoint ground precision strikes. The guy's an absolute killer. Not only that, he snatches necks. As I said, anacondas, darces. Darces is the main submission he goes to, and to catch Michael Chiesa in a scramble in that, the dude is just so goddamn impressive, and I love him to bits. You roll over to Belal Muhammad, and obviously first loss came to Alan Jouban, second loss came to Vicente Luque by that short left counter hook. Beautifully done. He then lost to Jeff Neal, and all the losses are other than the knockout, are very similar. He's just getting manhandled a little bit. He can't, do his bullying game. The main thing here with Belal, and I predicted he would lose to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and I'm happy I'm wrong actually. I love Wonderboy a bit, who doesn't? Nicest guy in MMA, right? Belal's a bit of an odd character. I'm not too keen on his personality, but I've got to respect his skills in this one. I wrote him off in the last one, and I regret doing it, because what Belal is an athlete, and what he is a performer. He knows how to get a win. Whether he's a finisher, not the case necessarily, he knows how to win rounds, and that is so important. What he did against Wonderboy is not even entertain for a second that he's going to strike, because when Wonderboy did manage to land a couple kicks, when he did manage to land that counter left hook, Belal was clearly inferior in this position. He did the correct thing. Close that gap, swarm him, not allow the kicks to even be entertained in this game. Grab the legs, shove him to the mat, and not only shove him to the mat, it's not just a John Fitch lay and pray, hold him in one position. He tried to get through the guards. He grinded through, he passed the guards. He's trying to finish fights. Whether he gets it or not, he gets into positions like getting your back, gets it multiple times against multiple opponents. Takashi Sato, you think of fights like that, he really shows that he can strike. He can strike. It's a bit clunky. It's not Vicente Luque. He leaves his hands exposed. He overextends massively on his power shots, where if he overextends in these power shots against Vicente Luque, Vicente's going to love that. You're going to overextend, you're going to land in the phone booth, and Vicente is going to rip that body and come over the top with that power hook. And he's going to shut Belal down again, and it will happen if Belal does that. What Belal needs to do here is have the perfect game plan. He needs to frustrate Vicente here. If he goes into the same game plan as he has against Wonderboy, which is just take him down and hold him down, he has a great chance. What he can't do is get crazy. What he can't do is get frustrated himself, like Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa tried to rush that fight through, and it just created the best scramble for Vicente in that sense. Belal's not the same as that. Belal doesn't do that. He's not, the only time he's really been completely outperformed, the first round against Leon, for instance, that's when he couldn't close the gap. Leon is a striker that is far beyond the capabilities of Belal Muhammad, far beyond. Belal has no chance in a striking match with him. He wanted to take him down. He couldn't even couldn't get his hands near Leon in that first round. It's just really annoying that obviously the accidental eye poke ruined that second round and ongoing fight. But I mean, Leon was clearly going to win that fight, unless something drastic happened. But Belal in that struggle with the range. Is he going to struggle with the range with Vicente? Vicente doesn't use the range like Leon or Steven or anyone. And they've got a lot of identical opponents. He's going to entertain that. He's going to want to get close. Vicente he carries a lot of power, very short distance, much like Stipe Miocic. I know it's a heavyweight, but what you see with Stipe is when he, especially in his run up to the belt, when he knocks out Verdum running backwards, it's the short shots that carry so much power, and it's very uncommon from these individuals to carry that much power with short punches, and Vicente does it better than anyone. Again, Belal has a lot of good things about him. He tucks his head to the left, switches sides, overhand hooks, both sides as well. Doesn't he doesn't preference one or the other. But again, as I say, it's quite clunky. Does like to kick. I think if he kicks in this game, it's a no-go. He tries to land high kicks a lot, and it's not quick, it's not dynamic, it's super easy to telegraph as well. Vicente's going to see it coming. He's an excellent striker, he's an excellent neck attacker. Belal's chances in this are slim to me, but the guy has so much knowledge of how to win a round. He would have learned a lot from that first fight of don't rush in, don't step into range with people that are going to do phone booth fighting. It's not okay. But what he can do is out wrestle him. He can frustrate Vicente. He cannot entertain a jiu-jitsu game. He's just going to hold him. The way for Belal to win is it might be a snooze fest, but it doesn't mean he can't win. So personally, guys, I think you know from this video, if you've got it this far, I'm going to be backing Vicente Luque. I think Vicente Luque is a phenomenal athlete. I think he's a phenomenal mixed martial artist. I think he's the darkest horse in the 170 division. I think he could really trouble all the top boys. He's been in the UFC for a long time now. I'm glad he's finally getting the recognition he does deserve. He's an absolute beast. Oh, again, only lost 3 times, and it's ridiculous. Since 2015, he's only lost 3 times, and he's fought a lot. I think it's like 18 fights in the UFC. So what do you think, guys? Do you reckon Belal can actually do this? Do you think he can beat Vicente Luque? Remember, guys, it's over 5 rounds here as well, and I just don't believe he has the cardio to put that kind of grueling game plan together to beat someone like Vicente. I think Vicente's style is going to end this fight. Against someone like Belal, he can't entertain. He's going to have to do what he did to Wonderboy, but over 5 rounds against someone who's better defensively everywhere, in grappling, better on the feet, in the pocket, which does not suit someone like Belal. Let us know, guys, in the comments below what you reckon is going to happen in this fight. I can't wait for it. It is a really good fight. Like the video, guys, if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the fights, guys. Cheers.